My name is Zach Kolbach, and I'm a sophomore here at Chilton High School.
You're in sports, right, Zach?
Yeah, I've been a three-sport athlete all my life with a little bit of baseball, track, as well as basketball and football.
Okay. So this year on April 5th, a lot is at stake for our community. The Chilton School District is asking for a $4.45 million operational referendum and a $19.3 million capital referendum. That operational referendum will be paid in amounts over a period of 5 years. Focusing specifically, though, on the operational referendum, failing to pass it will leave the district with a difficult choice on how to balance the budget. As a football player yourself, how do you think this will impact your program as a whole?
The operational referendum is huge in funding extracurricular activities. So, like a lack of funding for football as well as all the other sports I'm in, there are some serious cuts and like things that need to be taken away from us along the way. Like we would almost not be able to host football home games if we don't get some of that referendum.
Going off your involvement with football, the $19.3 million capital referendum has proposed that $4,224,480 be used for a new athletic complex on school grounds, not accounting for the $500,000 donation. Zach, what's your opinion on the possibility of constructing a new athletic complex on school grounds? Is, is this what the school needs?
I feel like the school really needs this. I mean, sports have always been a culture and always are on every school, no matter where you are, like D5, D1, D3, it doesn't matter. So I feel like being able to host home games with this new complex would be huge because Morrissey is almost to the point where the WIAA won't let us play games there, whether it be track or even football.
And how would you describe the conditions at Morrissey Field over your years playing on the field? Do the criticisms hold true?
They most definitely do. The earliest memory I have of like realizing Morrissey Park really wasn't a safe place to host athletic events is back in seventh grade, which was my first year of track. Um, I remember me and all my teammates had to stand arms length away from each other and walk across the football field searching for blades in the grass because one was found in the long jump pit. And there was always shattered glass bottles that we had to sweep up by the high jump, and there's just graffiti and everything. Like it's just not a good place to host sporting events with those kind of concerns.
All right. Let's move away from the topic of sports and talk about academics. The operational referendum hopes to continue providing funds for extracurricular activities and higher academics. Should this referendum not pass, it's likely that some advanced placement courses will be cut. Do you plan on attending secondary education after high school, Zach?
Yes, I plan on attending 4 more years of college.
All right. And how do you think colleges will view your application if you can't take the AP courses you'd like to?
One of the biggest things I feel like colleges look into is the strength of your schedule. So if these AP classes aren't offered, then that really gives a blow to exception of students who don't have AP classes or college level classes under their belt compared to other students.
All right. Thank you, Zach, for your time today. We greatly appreciate it. Before you go, is there anything you'd like to say to the parents out there who will have the opportunity to vote for these referendums on April 5th?
I mean, a common belief I feel like is that it's all about the football field, but there really is so much more to passing this referendum than the football field. There's so much academics and funding of other extracurricular programs that goes along with it that is so much more than just the football field. Like it needs to be passed in order for the school to run well and give students good opportunities.
Thank you. Okay. Could you please introduce yourself to the camera, Eddie?
Hi, I'm Edward Prescott, and I'm a junior here at Chilton High.
And I'm aware that you're in band, right?
That is correct.
I don't know if you've heard, but there are some big decisions our community is going to have to make on April 5th this year. There are two referendums up for vote regarding the Chilton School District. A $19.3 million capital referendum and a $4.45 million operational referendum. The operational referendum will be paid in amounts over a period of 5 years. Right now, we're going to discuss the consequences of the operational referendum should it not pass. Basically, it hopes to continue funding a multitude of extracurricular activities at school. That would include like band opportunities in middle school and high school. Should this not pass and funding is tightened, how do you believe this would impact the band's performance overall?
I think overall it impacted negatively because when looking at it, a lot of our instruments are not our own, but they're the school's instruments, and the school helps fix them when they're broken, and that costs money. And without the money, it means less people could be in band, and which means we won't be as loud and won't have as good of concerts for the community.
I actually heard that lessons, like out of classroom lessons, would be cut if the referendum doesn't pass. How do you view those lessons? Are those in a positive light? Do they help?
Those lessons are fantastic because we sometimes need one-on-one contact with the teacher, and without that one-on-one contact, it won't go well.
All right. Eddie, let's move away from the topic of band and focus on the more academic side of you. You were a member of the robotics club the past 2 school years, right?
That is correct.
So it's pretty safe to say you know your way around a computer pretty well. Would you say that knowledge learned from tech classes helped you at robotics meets?
They definitely have.
The operational referendum intends to continue funding these tech classes, but if they're cut, how do you think younger members will fare at these robotics meets?
I don't think they'll fare well because when looking at it, a big part of what you learn is in school, and if they have to do it outside of school, some people don't have the ambition. And even if they do, that's a lot of their own time they're putting into something.
Yeah, and shop classes as well also play a huge role in your ability to perform at robotics meets, right?
That is correct.
Without these shop classes being as well funded, do you think robotics would start to suffer?
I think they would, because a large part of robotics is experimenting and deciding what to do with different things. If this design doesn't work, let's try it with this way. Oh, I can't bend this metal like this? Well, let's experiment with another way and see if we can weld it together.
Eddie, you're involved in a fair amount of advanced placement classes too, right?
That is correct.
Out of curiosity, what college do you plan to attend?
I plan on attending UW-Madison, most likely.
Oh, okay. The operational referendum continues providing these AP and dual credit classes in the future. Do you think that UW-Madison will look at your application differently if you can't continue taking upper level courses?
I think they would, because when they look at it, they look at GPA, ACT, and then what kind of classes you took in your high school years. And let's say you have a good GPA, and a good ACT score, but they see a bunch of low level classes. They might not look at you as well as like a person that has a good GPA and a good ACT score and high level classes.
Even if the person in the lower level classes has like a 4.0 GPA, they'd still be looked on like lesser than the higher level classes?
That is correct, because they see it as they took an easier course, and so they didn't have to put in as much effort.
Okay. Thank you for talking with us today, Eddie. It's greatly appreciated. Before you go, is there anything you'd like to say to the voters out there?
I really think this referendum needs to be passed in order to help our children and have everyone out there be able to have a good childhood with the proper classes.
All right. Thank you.